Today we're thrilled to have Agustin Valera-Medina, who will talk us through the Ammonia project. Before we continue, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and remember to follow all our social media platforms in order to stay updated with the project news. Could you please begin by telling us a bit about yourself, your educational and professional background, and what motivated you to become involved in the Ammonia project?
Well, my name is Agustin Valera-Medina, and I'm a professor at Cardiff University. I've been working here at the university for the last 12 years, and the reason because I got involved in ammonia research was at some point in 2013, close to 2014, we received some partners coming from Siemens, so they wanted to burn ammonia. At the time, we didn't understand the technology properly, but as we conducted experiments, performed numerical simulations, and work on some of these subjects using power based on this chemical, we found out that it was very feasible and very interesting. And from that point, it just took my interest entirely. So I've been probably dedicated in terms of research to around 70-80% of my agenda to ammonia combustion.
Perfect. Next question. Can you provide an overview of the status and objectives of the Ammonia project?
Yeah, so ammonia at this stage in time is trying to demonstrate that it's feasible via industrial systems. So we know already by fundamental experimentation that we know that ammonia combustion is possible. It has some detrimentals, but it can then be improved using, for example, molecules like natural gas, molecules like methane embedded in natural gas, and also hydrogen that then can increase the flame speeds of the use of ammonia. But the interesting part is that now we have reached that point where industrial systems, large demonstrators, need to then be put together to then demonstrate to the public, to the industry, and also governments that this is a viable solution to then move away from fossil fuels. So at this stage, everything has to do with demonstrators, industrial size if possible.
So what are the challenges or obstacles that the project has encountered and expected to face, and how did you address the problems?
Well, the main problem is usually health and safety, because ammonia has the detrimental of being a toxic molecule. Although it has been used in refrigeration fertilizers for a long time, around 150 years, for example, in the case of fertilizers, the problem is that it still is a nuisance when it's just at very low concentrations and a potential toxic chemical to humans and animals all across the spectrum. So in marine life, terrestrial, and even aerial. So that's one of the big challenges. So when it comes to create a system for industrial purposes, health and safety becomes the main issue. In our case, the project has been ongoing for the last couple of years, and now the new programs that we're just putting together, they are just looking into how we can speed up the development of these health and safety routines now that we have implemented for smaller units, but then into larger units. So that's again a progress that a few years ago would take us a year and a half, 2 years to achieve. Now we're doing it in 6 months, 7 months. But that again is time that we need to spend on this, that is taking away some of that experimentation and analysis that need to be done. So I guess this is the main challenge. The second that is important to realize is the place where we're getting the ammonia. So right now the rationale is we'll get to then have green ammonia or even blue ammonia, that is the sequestration of CO2. But problem is that there are no commercial facilities, not at the scale that we need them, to then provide for enough green ammonia to then decarbonize the world. So in that sense, we are now developing these technologies at the back end of what is the chain of use of ammonia, but the beginning, that is the production of this green molecule, is still not there. So that is a big challenge in terms of the global economy and also the entire concept. And the final one is the suppliers. We have the units now, we have now the systems, but because these are new technologies that we're developing, there are no suppliers capable of giving us the materials that we need to avoid corrosion. They don't have have the systems that are required for the pressure changes that we're going to face. There are a lot of lack of suppliers actually willing to then take this, because again, they don't understand how the molecule works. So complementing the first two, that is the production of this green ammonia, the health and safety regulations at a particular scale, lower level, when it comes to then setting up these systems, is suppliers.
So with all the issues that you've mentioned, what steps have you taken to address some of these problems, or just to reduce the impact of the issues?
Well, when it comes to the green ammonia, there's a lot of work going on, and universities all across the world trying to then figure it out. So that's not something that is directly concerning us for the research that we're performing here, because we do, as I mentioned, the final end use of the ammonia. Now, when it comes to the health and safety, as I said, one of the things is that we're now trying to understand in full what are the implications of having all the different aspects of having ammonia, the storage, the distribution, and the final delivery, all along the lines that we have been developing. The same goes to large industries. So initially, it would have taken months, even years, to develop these forms or procedures to then get the chemical in our labs, whereas now it's just a matter of just performing probability analysis, hazard studies that will allow us to then move on in a matter of months. So that has helped us. When it comes to the final one, suppliers, that's a big one. And the problem is that, again, as I said, there are no suppliers at this time that actually do supply equipment that is for ammonia energy, because that doesn't exist. I mean, it's just still an idea and a concept that we're bringing up to the market. So with that, we're building up and training our suppliers, working together so they understand what are our needs, and then from there start developing new systems and capabilities that eventually will help us to then get to that point. And when we don't find the supplier, then we're trying to then fill that void. So with that, we're creating our own technologies. We are patenting some new systems that, again, are required to then run some of these units. So that's something that we're now pushing forward, and being in engineering is, again, the perfect situation to then create new patentable equipment and ideas that can be implemented and used for the purpose of using ammonia energy.
Thank you. So what are your expectations and preparation for the third symposium, and how have you prepared for it?
Well, my expectations are extremely high. I'm hoping that we'll have the largest amount of people and cohort that we've had ever. So in previous events, we had initially around 300 people, but it was hybrid mode. So around 170 that were in face-to-face, in person here in Cardiff, and then the remaining online. The last one that we did in Orleans, we had around 230, 240 people face-to-face, again, being there in the symposium. And now, with all the boost and support that has been given by Shanghai Zhao Tong, that is leading the organization of this event, we're hoping to then be in the hundreds, higher than that. So potentially around 400. We are hoping as well to then receive a lot of industrials, because now there's a lot of boost, especially in Asia, in Japan, South Korea, and China, to then start using ammonia as an energy vector. So we are hoping to then see not only academic heads, but also industrial people coming with the interest of learning more about the new fundamentals, new ideas, and technical specifications and advancements that we got for the use of ammonia. That, and also seeing that from that point, we'll be in a really nice position to start gathering all the forces and all the strengths that we got, and then potentially approach the creation of a new society. And also seeing the boosts and increase in the citation that we got for the journal on ammonia energy that we've been leading for now a couple of years. So it is the numbers that we're expecting. We're also hoping to then see more diversity coming not only from academics and technologists, but also again industrials interested in knowing about our research. And then from that, then the increase in numbers and citations that we'll see through the journal, and also the potential of a society that will come from that.
Thank you. Last question is, could you provide an outlook on the future and direction of the project?
Yeah, so we foresee that the project will help us to then set up the first system across all Europe that will be firing for the purpose of producing energy at the large scale ammonia and ammonia blends. So with that, we hope that we'll get to a point to then demonstrate all across the region that this is feasible, that we can then do it and is safe and environmentally friendly. If we manage to get to that point, then as I said, the symposium will be that platform that will allow us to then just broadcast it everywhere and then to anyone that is interested in the subject, and then from that point allowing for Cardiff and its partners to then be leading institutions in the subject of ammonia energy.
All right. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no, thanks to you.